Hello there. Welcome to our channel. You see, there is a way that the forces of nature expose people. It is not long ago that Atanga Nji, the dust raised by his outing, has not even settled. No, the dust raised by the outing of Atanga Nji, we saw a very arrogant Minister of Territorial Administration. We saw a Minister of Territorial Administration who came to display the simple fact that he is a puppet, a tool used by the regime to destabilize the focus of Cameroonians at a time when Cameroonians are putting their efforts together to kick out a regime, a government that has caused them pain. We saw Atanga Nji come out, scream, intimidate, try to cow down, promising hell to whosoever is going to try to destabilize the peace of Cameroon, not forgetting the fact that there is no peace in Cameroon. Because if you go to the northwest and southwest, there is no peace. It doesn't matter what you say. People are dying there. If you go to the far north, the grand north, Boko Haram in the far north is causing havoc. Atanga Nji did not bother about that. He came attacking just one person. We know, Professor Maurice Kamto. Like I said, he is the bone in their throats. But now, let me go to the crux of the matter. Did you see how a Cameroonian who claims to be an influencer, I don't know exactly what or who he is influencing, Steve Fah, gathered vulnerable and very myopic young people in Yaoundé. And I'm very convinced that they must have been paid some money. He gathered them, took them to the streets without authorization. Without authorization. To disturb the free movement of people. Because whatever area you occupy in Cameroon, in a group, you are one way or the other disturbing the free movement of people. That is already disturbing the peace of the country. Steve Fah, a civilian, a normal citizen, one without even a position of responsibility in Cameroon, one who is not a model to the young people of Cameroon, gathers very vulnerable and myopic young people to take to the street with placards condemning the act of the anti-sardine brigade, BAS, Brigade Anti-Sardina, the group that has said change must come to Cameroon, fighting for the future of the same young people. And he challenged them. Atanga Nji did not say a word. Atanga Nji, go arrest Steve Fah and the young people and throw them in jail. Do not forget that peaceful protest is enshrined in the Constitution of Cameroon. Do you know how many people you guys have locked up, beaten, torture for peaceful protest in Cameroon? Kawala and his group, the teachers and lawyers in Boya. Listen, if young people in Cameroon are still thinking that anything good can come out from the regime, the government of Mr. Biya after 42 years, then we need to get our brains formatted. We have lost it. This struggle is not a struggle for a single person. That is why I told you that. You see, October 2025, it will boil down to two persons, two people and two things. The battle is going to be who represents the CPDM party, because as I put it to you, Mr. Biya has not come out to tell you people that I will be candidate in the next presidential election. No, don't mind the speech they will write, he will read. Don't mind the things ministers will tell people to say, the chiefs in the Southwest. All of what you see there is a charade. They are still putting pressure on Mr. Biya to change his mind. Like I said, Mr. Biya does not want to run for president come October. So, what you're seeing ahead of the presidential election is a way to put Cameroon in a state of confusion, division, because the government of Mr. Biya thrives when Cameroonians are divided. If Cameroonians are united, they cannot thrive. I tell you that come October 2025, it will boil down to two people and two things. It's not going to be the Cameroon Renaissance Movement against the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, the CPDM party. No. It is going to be the person who is going to represent the government in place against Professor Maurice Kamto. Listen, I am not dissing the other political parties and their opposition leaders. No. When you look at things with objectivity, you will realize that these guys don't have what it takes to stand the CPDM party. Why do you think every day the CPDM government talks about Professor Maurice Kamto? You think it's for nothing? Is this not the same way they were doing in the 90s? Talking every day about John Frundi, making all kinds of plans to frustrate his every move until they successfully got him to their side. But you see, Professor Maurice Kamto, you can say what you want to say. The truth is, there is no other person that is giving sleepless night. Yes. There is no other person who is giving sleepless night to the government in place. Every Cameroonian now should develop a strong phobia for tribalism, for dictatorship, and for Atanga Nji. Because he is the one who is, fueling the machine that is perpetrating tribalism in Cameroon, division, hate speech. How can a government minister calls himself Molinex, a blender, that whatever gets in, he's going to grind, crush? That's a minister. What is that? Is that not violence? Yes. So, if you are still thinking that Mr. Biya and his government can... I understand the misery. I understand the frustration. I understand the rate of poverty. So, the little cash you see, you want to grab. But there is something. The CPDM government has no plan. So, this election is going to be Maurice Kamto against whoever runs for the CPDM ticket. And it will boil down to the manifesto. What projects do they have? First, the CPDM has no project for the country. Because if they had one for 42 years, what have they done? Is it the roads that they met that they cannot rehabilitate, they cannot maintain? I want to ask you, is it the scholarships that they met, that they themselves in government enjoyed, benefited from the scholarship, that they have killed? Is it the quality of education that they met, that they have destroyed by splitting the ministers just to create positions for their cronies, those who help them, their friends? Is it the currency, the CFA francs, that used to have value in Cameroon that Mr. Biya devalued? Is it the economy that they have shattered by taking us to IMF? Is it the high rate of unemployment where young people with degrees from universities are commercial motorbike riders? Steve Fah is benefiting from government officials. And he's manipulating young people because that is what the system in place does. Atanga Nji is not bothered about them carrying placards. And it is the same thing how it was spontaneous in Limbe for some placards to be made within minutes and given to young people in Limbe to go under the scorching sun and saying, oh, deep sea port has finally come. And years later, nothing is being said about the project. So the CPDM has no project. But you have listened to Professor Maurice Kamto come face to face with the young people of Cameroon. He has been overseas talking to people like us. I've had the opportunity to meet this man one-on-one, listen to him, and I can put it to you that there is nobody with a plan as powerful as that of Professor Maurice Kamto. I have listened to Cabral Libi. He's a good guy with a good plan, but somehow there are question marks. I have interviewed, sat one-on-one with O.C. Joshua and Nambangi in Limbe, alongside me, John Frundi, before he went to the US for treatment and will later on pass on. And I put it to you that there is nothing good that can come out of the SDF at the moment. Yes, that is the truth. And if you see, when you see Jean-Michel Ninche, a very strong and firebrand member of parliament that used to be with the SDF, who has left the SDF, and how popular he is. Imagine the voters in Douala. He is now merging with Professor Maurice Kamto. Is because he sees something in that man, the man Kamto. And so many others will realize it before October, that Kamto is the bridge over troubled waters for Cameroonians. We are done with the way Cameroonians are being treated. No, if these youths who came out with placards were criticizing the government of Mr. Biya, Atanga Nji would have released his beast to go after them. But he did not, because they were coming to sympathize with the minister who was whitewashed with flour in Belgium. Well, like I said, the foreigners that they are producing ID cards for them, take the ID cards. You know, when you are in that ballot area to vote, when you're in that booth to vote, you are there alone, nobody sees you. Collect the money, collect the ID cards. Do not vote for the CPDM party. You will see on that ballot paper, MRC, Maurice Kamto. Vote for him. Collect the money, eat it. Young people of Cameroon, let them give you money. Collect it, eat it, but vote them out. Because if you don't, you are voting another 7 years of unadulterated hell under Mr. Biya and his cohorts.